Jai Shri Radhe. Sab Vaishnavan ko Saprem Sadar Sadenya Jai Shri Krishna. Day 167 of our readings. Today is Varta 148, Part 2. One day the wife began to wonder how Sri Madan Mohanji had appeared from out of the Shaligram and how Sri Swaminiji had appeared out of the goddess deity. She asked her husband, who advised her to inquire of Chachaji, since he was an accomplished Vaishnava. He will surely remove your doubt on this matter. That evening the couple came to Santadasji's house for the divine discourses, and when they were over, the couple approached Harivamsji and asked him, "O Maharaj, first of all, we had a Shaligram and a goddess deity. When Sri Gosaji bathed them with the 5 nectars, the Shaligram transformed into Sri Madan Mohanji and the goddess deity into Sri Swaminiji. How did this happen?" Chachaji explained to her thus: the Shaligram is a form of Akshar Brahma, the infinite, is formless Brahman. Within this infinity is the Supreme Lord, well known in the world and the Vedas. Within this form of the Supreme Lord, called Purushottam, is the grace-filled Supreme Lord, unknown in the world and the Vedas. Sri Gosaji is related to this latter Supreme Lord. Therefore, with the mere touch of his hand, the Supreme Nectar-filled Lord appeared. Therefore, Sri Madan Mohanji manifested. The goddess represents Shakti, female power. She was a small portion of the divine consort, Lakshmi Ji. By the mere touch of Sri Gosaji's lotus hand, the goddess was empowered to manifest as Sri Swaminiji, the most supreme female deity form. You have attained this treasure through Sri Gosaji's great grace. Therefore, you must serve them with much love and very carefully. The couple bowed to Chachaji and felt very happy. They both began to serve with much affection. This great love led them to experience separation day and night. Chachaji stayed for the month in Agra, after which he took leave from Sant Das with much affection, and then he came to the couple to take leave of them. The two of them praised him profusely, saying, "O Maharaj, you bless the two of us, who were fallen into the pit of worldly life. So kind you are. It is impossible to describe your compassion." With such supplications, the husband and wife both offered him whatever they could manage to give, and pleaded, "O please think of us as your servants, and come again to bless us with your sight. Please convey our humble prostrations to Sri Gosaji and all his family members. Please give our Jai Shri Krishna to all the Vaishnavas too." Chachaji was pleased by their words. They walked with him for some time on his way. Chachaji then respectfully sent them home. When he arrived in Gokul, he prostrated before Sri Gosaji, conveyed the respects of the Brahmin couple, and gave him their donations. Sri Gosaji asked him how they were, and Chachaji gave him all their news. He praised them a lot, saying, "These two have a lot of love in their hearts." Sri Gosaji said, "Nectar soon collects in a pure vessel." They both had knowledge of the greatness of the Lord, and thereafter surrendered themselves to him with love. Therefore they were quick to attain perfection. Thus concludes Varta 148, the story of the husband and wife from Agra, who were the recipients of Sri Gosaji's great grace and accomplished Vaishnavas. There is truly no end to their story. Continuing now, Varta 149, the daughter of one moneylender's son and daughter-in-law, who lived in Surat, Bhav Prakash. This daughter-in-law is a devotee of Tamasi disposition. In the eternal Leela, her name is Navodha. She is very beautiful and very skilled. She is a very close Sakhi of Sri Chandravaliji, and she manifests from Kamala, and is thus a form of her divine loving sentiment. Part 1. The moneylender lived in Surat. His son's wife was very beautiful. She was also in the prime of her youth. One day, after her bath, she was drying her hair in the grassy compound behind her house. A man who was the servant of the Melech ruler was riding past on his horse on the way to water his animal. He caught sight of her from his horse and jumped and pulled the horse's reins sharply. The horse jumped over the fence to the compound and then halted near the girl. The man jumped off the horse and grabbed hold of her hand. She was surprised, but very clever. She considered, "There is no one here, and this man has broken the rules of proper behaviour. If I shout out, everyone will come there, and everyone will know what happened. They will not understand and only create a scandal. The Lord only knows what is in my heart." Thinking thus, she said to the Turk, "If you let go of my hand, I will happily do what you tell me to." He was happy and let go of her hand. She immediately slapped his face very hard and ran into her house. She locked the door behind her. The Turk was very upset. He said to himself, "See, a woman dared to slap me. My life is worthless." Then he thought, "There is no point in my staying here now." He guided his house out of that place, watered his horse, and went home. He thought, "My name will only again be honourable when I make that woman my servant." He then gave up his job with the ruler, telling him that he needed to go back to his own country. He took whatever wages were owed to him and went home. Every day he rode past the daughter-in-law's house. She had an old lady who would come to bathe her and dress her hair and carry out other such services. When he realized that this old lady went to and from the daughter-in-law's house daily, he went to the old lady's home. Addressing her politely as mother, he asked her to give him some water to drink. She did, and he paid her 1 rupee. She was very happy. He then sat down. She respectfully offered him a comfortable seat. He then said to her, "I am hungry." She cooked and fed him, and he gave her 2 more rupees. Thereafter he came to her house every day to sit. He would chat with her and ask her all sorts of questions, as well as eating there daily. He gave her 1 rupee every day. Then he asked her where she went every day. The old lady replied, "I go to one moneylender's house to help his daughter-in-law to bathe and dress her hair. She pays me with grains, and this is how I survive." The Turk then asked of the name of the moneylender, and then said, "What is the age and name of the fair and pretty girl who lives there?" The old lady told him that she was the wife of the moneylender's son, and she even told him her name. The Turk wrote everything down. He then asked her the name of the girl's friends and associates. She told him that she did not know, and he told her to find out. Then she went to the daughter-in-law and asked her, "What is your father's name? And of your grandfather?" The girl told her everything. The old lady relayed all this information to the Turk, who wrote it all down. In this way he would discover 4 or 5 names every day, and in this way he soon had a record of 7 generations on her father-in-law's side and 7 generations on her own father's family. After this, the Turk searched all the surrounding villages and found another girl who was of the same age and beauty, who was the daughter of a prostitute. He offered her mother money for her, and he brought her to his home. To this girl he taught all the names that he had gathered. He carefully instructed and made her aware of all the information. He then dressed her in the same kind of sari and blouse, and adorned her with exactly the same jewellery, and even found out about the dots tattooed on the girl's chin, and used ink to imitate these too. He stood in one place and then instructed her as to exactly what she would have to say when taken to the ruler's court. He then made her stand behind the moneylender's house and told her, "The ruler's men will come to fetch you. Go with them. When you are asked, answer all their questions as I have instructed you." After telling her all of this, the Turk went to the ruler's court and made a loud plea. "O my ruler, I have forged a bond with the daughter-in-law of one moneylender. She has promised herself to me and agreed to accompany me to my country. She is very attached to me, but who knows what she might say later? One cannot trust the word of a woman. Please, therefore, send your soldiers to call her here and ask her. I want the court to record her consent. You can take whatever the fee for all this might be from me." The ruler asked her where they might find her, and he replied that she would be at home at that time. "Please send your men to fetch her now, then she will come here. Ask her everything and make a record of her answers." The ruler sent men to go and fetch her. The Turk told them that they would find the daughter-in-law standing behind her father-in-law, the moneylender's house, and that they should call her from there. The men went to fetch her. She was standing in the place he had specified. The officers told her that the ruler had summoned her. She came to the court and stood there. The ruler asked her, "Are you willing to go with this man?" She answered, "I am ready and willing to go with him. We have known each other for 2 years. I am committed to him. I wish to go with him." The ruler told his officer to make a written record of her name, all the names of her family members, and of the distinctive marks on her body. The Turk told that officer to write down everything she said, and then to give him a copy of all of it. She then told the officer her name, her family members' names, the names of all the 7 generations on her father's side and her father-in-law's side, and the distinctive marks on her face. Everything was written down, and then the people present were recorded as witnesses, and the ruler stamped it with his seal. Jai Shri Radhe. We will conclude the reading for today here. And tomorrow we will continue with the story of the moneylender's daughter-in-law. Aaj ke Anand ki jai ho. Jai Shri Radhe.